So this is a demo on using inzight to do a bivariate plot and to decide on, in some ways, to decide on the variables from the data set. So you need to open up the software. I've got a shortcut icon on my desktop at the moment. You guys will need to get instructions to where to find the software that will be given to you. And there's two buttons. Once this window opens, we're just doing the run. These modules down here are specialist modules that we'll use later on in the course for other achievement standards, but for bivariate we just use the run and it loads. It takes a wee while to set up. But eventually you'll get this window here, which is an empty file. So in the file menu we need to import the data. We're going to go into open to the local files, and you should come into this data area here. So I'm running mine off my desktop. Insight's the folder, and in a subfolder we have all the data that we require. In this subfolder 3.9 to 310 are the data files for both time series and bivariate investigations, and we're going to go to this 1993 database of American new cars and just open it up and go OK, and it imports the data into this window, which we can see. I'm just going to make this window bigger. I've maximized it, and we can see the individual data points, and if we scroll down there's 93 of them. There's a descriptive variable here, the name. There's a type and a minimum, medium, maximum price. There's the city efficiency. So we've got headings along the top as to what everything is for each car, and some of this data is categorical data like type, and so we have categories and it's unsuitable for bivariate, and other data is continuous, so they're measures. The price is a measure, the fuel efficiency rating is a measure. If you're not sure on what the variables are, we're now viewing the data set. You just click on this view variables button here, and it gives you a list of the variables themselves. The other thing to do is to head into the data file through the file manager. So you find where the program's sitting, click in data, go in the same way, and you'll see this American Cars of 93. Click on that and it opens a PDF file explaining to you about where this data set has come from. So this is your background information. It talks to you about the 90s being bigger, heavier cars and new types of cars coming onto the market. It tells you where the data comes from and a link to the data set to help you find missing data points or variables. And then it lists the variables and tells you how they're measured. So we can see that the type 1 means small, 2 is mid-size. We can use that for grouping later on, but for now we just use this key to understand what those measures mean. So all the data in inzight is written in as numbers, but they're sometimes coded. So those whole number ones in particular are coded. So we can sort of understand that type isn't a measure. Anyway, we come back here and we want to either do a plot straight away. So to do that we can drag and drop some variables into these boxes down here. So for our first variable, I'm just going to shrink this up a little bit. It makes not much difference. I'll make it big again. I'm going to drag a couple of interest points, and I think we had fuel efficiency, something like that, by size of motor, something else like that. So let's just grab something that we feel there might be a relationship for. So engine size was one of our variables. Just drop it in there, and this time instead of drag and dropping, I'm just going to grab some kind of efficiency. Now it's given me a scatter plot straight away. Before I dropped that second variable in, I basically had a one variable summary, a dot plot, and now that I've dragged the second one in, I've got this plot here. So I'm getting the efficiency on the predictor scale and the engine size on the response. I think that might be wrong, right? So the engine size is probably the predictor for the efficiency, so I just need to swap those around. So I'm just going to clear them both and put the city efficiency on there. So that's how many kilometers you get out of 100 liters of fuel, and if I remember right, we've got the engine size going on here. Okay, so that looks better to me. So as the engine size increases, the performance decreases, or the kilometers per 100 liters is less. And the other way of looking at that is smaller engine sizes have comparatively greater performance or higher performance, so it's more kilometers out of each liter of fuel. That's a good relationship, and that might be something I wish to investigate, in which case down here I can save the plot. Just going to choose this little save button down here, and we specify where to put it. Now you can't put it back in this folder if you're using the School X drive. So another way to actually do it, instead of trying to save it in, you could find a place to save it if you know of some places, but another way to do it is go to this Windows Start menu, and you can either grab this snipping tool. If you can't see it, just type in snip, and the snipping tool comes up, and you hit new, and the screen sort of fades away, and we drag and click the thing that we want to clip, and it's on our clipboard now in the snip tool. I usually, you can either save it, or I can right click it and copy it, and then if I grab somewhere to put it in, and even Google Drive, I can then paste it, right click paste, or Control V, and chuck that graph, pop that graph straight into an editing software where I can write about it. So that's the fastest way to grab a plot. I'm just going to get rid of that for now. I'll show you some ways of doing a quick investigation. Now, that's got my old one on top, and the new, that's my snipping plot, so I'm just going to kill that, not save it. Here's my plot here. If I do another one, I might get a second plot window coming up. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Advanced and do a quick explore, and I'm going to explore pairs, and I'm going to hold down the pairs that I might be interested in. So this is a fast way of checking lots of different pairings. I like the price. I'll get the middle price. No, I won't. I'll get the minimum price. Now, keeping my finger on control, I'm going to also pick the city efficiency, the open road efficiency. I think the drivetrain is a type of drive, front wheel or back wheel. I know engine size is a goodie, horsepower, revs at maximum power, revs at cruising speed, the litres of the capacity of the tank, the length of the car, the wheelbase length, anything else that interests me that I think might be a variable that I wish to potentially investigate. Now what I'm going to do is hit plot, ta-da, and I end up, we're just going to hit it again. All those variables are crossed by each other, so we have one great big plot of all the variables together. I'm just going to wait for that to load. Seem to have this big mark on it. I think I've almost got too many. What I might do is come back here and just tidy it up a little bit. I'm going to go for city efficiency rather than open road. I might try open road. Engine size and horsepower and litres and the weight of the car. That's fewer than I had before. I'm just going to plot those. This is a big data set with lots of variables. It's being a bit naughty, so I'll just replot. And it's misbehaving. Okay, I'm just going to kill that and start again. I'm going to go advanced, quick explore, and pairings or pairs. I'm going to hit the price, the fuel efficiency, the engine size, and either the weight or the length of the car. I'm just going to choose the weight while I'm holding control down. So when I scroll back up, all those variables are selected. I'm going to hit plot, and this is what I wanted to show. This is a graph of everything crossed by everything that I selected. So here we've got minimum price, and here we've got city K. So the graph above it has got the price on this axis here and the K on that axis there. So the price goes up to 40,000 from 10 to 40. This one here is the opposite. So we have the efficiency here and the price there. So it's kind of like there's some reversals going on, some reverse graphs or some opposites. This one here, what is that? That's city K versus engine size. Okay, so engine size, remember, was from 1 to 5 litres. So that's up the side. I think I'd rather have engine size as a predictor and then look at the kilometres here. So this one here has the engine size along the x-axis and the kilometres up the vertical y-axis. And what it's actually showing us is as engine size increases, the efficiency decreases. And I think we've seen that graph before. What's the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to look for relationships that appear to exist in our data set and to choose ones that we might be interested in investigating as our starting point. This one here looks interesting to me. We have engine size along the bottom and then the weight as the response variable, and we can see that there's some consistent scatter through the start of the graph and some inconsistencies with bigger engine sizes. So some are quite heavy and some are unexpectedly light. So that one could be interesting to look at. That one's quite interesting because there's a curve, so it might give some modeling options if you wanted to explore the usefulness of the prediction model in different zones of the graph. For example, here there's no point in using an overall trend. It's kind of flatlining, so we might look at the efficiency just flatlining out quite low for engine sizes maybe above 4 litres. That kind of thing, but it's basically just an eye glance view to sort of pick out your variables of interest. So once you've decided on one, you need to pull down the variables that you're going to be using. And they need to make sense too. Okay, so you're going to select one of these that makes sense. I'm going to look at this. This looks kind of interesting. It's kind of linear at the start. On the bottom we have this variable here, which is the weight, and on the y we've got the price. So it looks to me like, no, we don't. We've got the price along the bottom and then the weight. So more expensive cars tend to be heavier. That's kind of interesting. If that's the one that I want to study, then I can drag and drop those variables in here. So I want price and weight, and it was the minimum price. I don't want that thing anymore. I'm just back to exploring here. And then I want to put the weight on that one. I know there's some relationship there because my investigation plot showed me something. That's a relationship there. The larger engine size cars Now, create new plot tab. Let's put the weight back in there. The minimum price. And I've got to find where that's actually plotting it. With inzight, sometimes it does a lot of stuff in the background. A lot of inactive and repeat windows are occurring. So what I'll do now is just see I've got 2 tabs there. I might just cross that one out, delete it, and then I'm just going to start again. I'm just going to delete these out and drag and drop all over again. So price and engine size. I'm choosing lowest price because I just want the plain model car. So that's my single variable on the scale of price there, and then engine size here. So that's the way around I wanted it. You might have to play with those two. Y comes first, Y versus X. Okay, so the first one that you put on top will be on the Y axis, and you can switch them around as you need to. Once I've got that, I can then copy and paste that and write a description. I'm going to make a separate video just going over again what it is I need to describe and how to do that.